Now at 5:30, a $100 million replica of Noah's Ark will be open today in Grant County. More on what's expected for the park's future ahead.
Also on WKYT this morning, a Lexington family is shaken up right now after the house has been broken into early this morning. They say the person who broke in then took off in their SUV. We'll have more about that situation coming right up.
And a very horrible story out of Lawrence County. We'll have more on how an 8-year-old died after an accidental shooting. That's this morning on WKYT.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. Here we are on Thursday, July 7th, and we're glad to have you with us. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope your day's off to a great start. We're dealing with, some rain.
More rounds of showers, and it looks like that will be off and on through the day and into tonight. It's a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day. Here's Micah.
Yeah, very light rain across the I-64 corridor. That does include us, but you go south of that, and that's where you're getting the moderate to heavier bouts of rain, especially the farther south you go into, say, Whitley County and back toward McCreary County, Wayne County. That's where we're getting it. Knox and then southern portions of Clay County. That's where we're seeing some pretty heavy downpours. Also Campton getting in on the mix, coming out of portions of, say, Lee County. That's where we're seeing some pretty heavy rain at this very moment. So all that is trying to move toward the east. It's just taking its sweet little time. It's going to take some time. I'd say around 9 a.m. to about noontime is when you start to see this rain move on out of the south and southeast. Late storms in the forecast. It means much of your day is going to be dry. It's just going to be hot, upper 80s to around 90 degrees. Humidity way up, and then the storms move in this evening and night. I'm going to show you exactly when I expect those to move in coming up.
Micah was just telling us a lot of rain around the Hopkinsville area, and word is that lightning may be to blame for a fire that has destroyed a historic building there in western Kentucky in downtown Hopkinsville.
Well, that building caught fire around 11 o'clock last night. This morning there is not much left of it. Check out this photo from the Hopkinsville Fire Department. The captain of the fire department told WHOP the fire was raging before fire crews first got there. The Peter Postel building was built in the late 1880s. It was most recently a furniture store. The fire was so large, much of the building has collapsed. Firefighters are still out there this morning. The good news, no one was hurt, because a lot of times in those situations, if it's not, people there at the store, it can be firefighters themselves.
First responders, yeah. But a very difficult fire scene to fight in the stormy night there in Hopkinsville, and a tremendous loss in that community.
Well, this morning, Lexington police are looking for someone who broke into a home early this morning in Masterson Station.
Now, they say the person stole a vehicle, the keys, a wallet, and then drove off in the homeowner's SUV. And WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is live with more on the investigation there. Caitlin?
Good morning, Bill. We're in a quiet back corner of this neighborhood. More Lexington police just arrived on scene, and the family telling us they probably won't be able to go back to sleep. Some frightening moments this morning for a family on Majestic View walk after they woke up to 2 loud noises just after 3 o'clock. Dad got out of bed to see what was happening, and the crook was already pulling out in the family's 2013 black Acura. The family has no idea who would have targeted them, but police told them whoever did this probably surveyed the neighborhood first and saw a wallet and keys sitting on the kitchen counter. According to the family, the crook used a brick to break through the back kitchen door. Luckily, the family says no cash was in the wallet, and they were able to cancel all of their credit cards this morning. We don't have any information right now on a suspect. Live in Lexington, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
All right, obviously more to find out about that story. And after years of planning and construction, the Ark Encounter in Grant County will officially open its doors today.
The park features a replica of Noah's Ark, and the group behind the park, The Answers in Genesis, thinks 2 million people will visit during the first year. WKYT's Mark Barber is live with more on the big replica. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. That's right. While there's not a worldwide flood, 1 to 2 million people are expected to flood into this religious theme park 2 by 2 this year. To see this massive ark here behind me. It's 7 stories tall and as long as 2 football fields. Now, this replica is straight out of the pages of Genesis 6. The creationist who founded Answers in Genesis says he built the ark according to the specifications in the Bible to help answer questions about Noah's story. It cost $100 million to build this theme park. People who think this park celebrates fable, not fact, were highly critical when controversial project received $18 million in tax breaks. The project has captured the attention and curiosity of people from around the world, and visitors will have a chance to take their first look at the art starting at 9 this morning. For the first 40 days and nights that this arc is open, people will be able to visit from 9 in the morning until midnight. It will run you $40 to get a ticket. Live in Williamstown, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, we'll see how it goes there, and we thank you, Mark. In a tragic story this morning out of Lawrence County, investigators say a 7-year-old boy died after his 8-year-old brother shot him. State police say Blake Case and his brother found a gun in their home in Lomansville Sunday night. They didn't know it was loaded. They say while playing with the gun, Blake's brother accidentally shot him. Police say Blake later died in a hospital. Friends of the family say they're devastated.
Blake, he's a wonderful little guy. He always had a smile on his face. Didn't ever seem like he had a bad day. And every time that I would come up through anywhere where he was at, he would stop and wave. He was a great little kid.
Police say there was an adult in the home at the time of the shooting. They also say they do not expect to file charges in the case, saying it was all just a tragic accident. A man has died after being shot by police last night at Falcon Heights, Minnesota.
Police say the man was 32-year-old Philando Castillo. Castillo's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, and her daughter were in the car at the time. Reynolds is now in police custody after posting video of the shooting aftermath on Facebook Live. The video has been removed, but in it, Reynolds says it all started with a traffic stop. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating the shooting. The Justice Department is vowing to conduct a fair, thorough, and impartial investigation into the death of Elton Sterling. The 37-year-old father of 5 was shot and killed by police Tuesday outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at a convenience store where he was selling CDs. This thing captured on video really has sparked protests across the country. Hannah Daniels has the latest.
Crowds remained outside the Triple S convenience store in Baton Rouge Wednesday night, long after the vigil honoring Elton Sterling had ended. State Representative Denise Marcel was among those who spoke, just feet from where he was shot and killed by police.
Some people said we couldn't come out here without burning up our own buildings, without flipping over cars, but this is not Ferguson, this is Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Many of those in attendance expressed anger over footage circulating online of the fatal encounter. The latest one, taken by the convenience store owner, shows Sterling being shot multiple times as officers pin him to the ground.
I'm angry and I'm mad because they took something from me that I'll never ever get back.
A law enforcement official says police recovered a gun from Sterling after the shooting, but his family says the video proves his life was snatched unfairly.
The individuals involved in his murder took away a man with children who depended upon their daddy on a daily basis.
Federal investigators plan to review videos and speak to witnesses as part of their probe. Demonstrators say they won't stop protesting until justice is served. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Well, the 2 officers involved in the shooting, 28-year-old Blaine Salamone, 29-year-old Howie Lake, have both been placed on administrative leave.
Presidential rivals Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton continue to take jabs at each other as they campaign in different parts of the country. Last night, Trump campaigned up the road in Cincinnati with former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who is being considered as a possible running mate. Trump renewed his attacks on Clinton over her email scandal. At a rally in Atlantic City yesterday, Clinton stood in front of a closed Trump casino and blasted his business practices.
Hillary Clinton claimed that the reason for her illegal use of a private insecure email was that it was more convenient to use just one device. Oh.
Donald Trump doesn't think going bankrupt is a big deal, but it's devastating if you're someone who plays by the rules.
The Attorney General accepted the FBI's recommendation and closed the case on Clinton's emails, but the House Oversight Committee has summoned FBI Director James Comey to Capitol Hill today. Kentucky Utilities, or that is Kentucky, has officially joined a lawsuit that challenges the Obama administration's directive about transgender students in public schools. Kentucky was one of 13 states listed in a court filing that asks for a preliminary injunction to stop the directive pending a final decision in the lawsuit. The Texas Attorney General filed a request yesterday and asked for a hearing next month. The directive says public schools should let transgender students use bathrooms and locker rooms that match their gender identity.
Police in Somerset have arrested a man they say used a hatchet during an assault. Police say yesterday afternoon, 30-year-old Jimmy Floyd and some others showed up at Mark Shelton's home on Speedway Drive wanting to fight. Witnesses told police that Floyd tried to hit Shelton with the hatchet but missed. They say Floyd then threw the hatchet, hitting Shelton's wrist. Shelton was taken to the hospital, but his condition is not known this morning. Police charged Floyd with assault. 12 years ago, an Eastern Kentucky University student disappeared. Last night was the anniversary of Molly DeTillo's disappearance. Investigators say they still do not know what happened to her. She was last seen in July of 2004 near her apartment in Indianapolis. No one's ever been arrested or charged in the case, but her family sued two men they thought were the last ones to see her. In 2010, a judge ordered them to pay more than $3 million for injuries that could have led to her death.
A fundraiser will be held today to help a former police dog who worked with a fallen Bardstown police officer. Investigators say Officer Jason Ellis was ambushed along the Bluegrass Parkway in 2013. Police have not made any arrests in that murder. His canine partner, Figo, now lives with the mother of Officer Ellis's wife. The organization Cops with Paws is holding a fundraiser today at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Bardstown. If you mention the fundraiser, 15% of the cost of your meal will go to help Figo. For more information on the fundraiser, you can go to WKYT.com. 5:41 is our time this morning as we check live drive traffic and see what's happening early here on this Thursday. And with a look, first of all, at the traffic map. First off, the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive camera, and that takes us to Richmond Road at Mount Tabor.
And you can see the road's pretty slick out there from the rain.
That's the only real issue we have. No other delays or problems that we know of this morning. The interstates look good. We do have, though, lots of rain in the region, and that will continue to roll through. More news coming up for you on this Thursday morning.
One little girl came into the world with a boom this 4th of July. That story ahead when we return on WKYT this morning.
Rain out there early this morning. Some rumbles of thunder farther south you go, and that batch of rain, this is your first batch, moves on out. Much of your day stays dry, and then we look toward the evening and nighttime hours. That's when more rain moves on in. I'll have that coming up next. We have the rain out there at this very moment. Some of these are moderate to heavy downpours, and you can see that especially across the Mountain Parkway and points down toward the south. You get into the Mountain Parkway, Campton area, there's been some pretty good rain there. For the most part, it's just been showers, some moderate showers, so man, that's nice sleeping weather right there. That's hard to get up when you have that outside early in the morning. We do have a flood warning, and that flood warning goes in effect until 10:45 from Somerset in Pulaski County. It's virtually all of Pulaski County. Make your way off into the London and East Bernstadt area, back toward Mount Vernon and Livingston. Those are areas that have had good amounts of rain throughout the morning hours. And then we're adding to that just south of that. We'll see if they add a flood warning just south from the National Weather Service, but as of right now, we don't see anything on that. But nonetheless, watch out for some of these creeks and streams. If they are typically flooded, they're going to be flooded this morning because we've had a very saturated ground, a lot of that runoff right there into the lakes, streams, and rivers. So watch out for that. 90 degrees by the afternoon. I want to show you this. Look by noontime. 8 a.m. to about noontime is when we push all this rain on out of here. And once that happens, much of your day, much of your afternoon actually stays pretty dry. Southeast, it'll be right around that 10 to noon. Back toward the Cumberland region, you're talking about 8, 9 a.m. for it to move on out. Here in Lexington, it'll move on out here in the next couple of hours, and then a lot of your day stays dry. However, 90 degrees, high humidity is not going to feel great today. Then we head off into the evening. Evening, a small chance of rain. Nighttime hours, a much better opportunity. This should roll in later on tonight, anywhere from 11 p.m. to about 4 a.m. Anywhere in between that. I've seen multiple runs now from the past couple of days, and they're just back and forth with the timing. Here's the timing right now. 4 a.m., you can see it rolling into northern Kentucky. Slide southbound across the I-64 corridor around 5, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then we go down south, you're talking about right around 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And those will be strong storms too. You'll get a lot of lightning within that, and maybe even the possibility of an isolated severe storm. That's something to watch out for. The good news, there's good news and bad news. The good news here is is that it's rolling in during that time. The bad news is it's rolling in during that time. And what I mean by that is when you go off into the night and into the morning hours, you don't have any sunshine. You don't have anything, really any energy built up to actually get these storms going. But then it comes through when you're trying to sleep. So it's just one of those double-edged swords right there. So you just got to keep in mind that we're going to be dealing with that late tonight into early tomorrow morning. A few more rumbles of thunder toward the afternoon and into the evening hours on Friday. Then we finally move it out for the weekend. Finally. The weekend looks really good.
Yeah, it's been kind of a tough week,
Yes,
with all this around here. Starting with the 4th, which was rainy and etc.
Oh man, it started off with a bang.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
it did.
5:48 right now.
Well, and it was also starting off with a bang, the July 4th holiday. For a New York family, it's one they will never forget, the holiday.
Right. Jamie Alvarado was in labor and heading to the hospital when New York City traffic came to a standstill. Her baby wasn't going to wait for the road to clear. The road was jam-packed because it was being cleared out for the New York City fireworks. Jamie's brother-in-law was driving, so he made a quick exit. He then flagged down police who escorted them to the hospital, police horses in tow. Actually had the horses with them. There, the paramedics cut the umbilical cord right in the front seat of the car. All the while, the baby's brother, Eli, and a 9-year-old cousin were in the back seat. Got to see all of this. Wow. Jamie and her husband are still thinking about names, but they say they're going to nickname their new daughter Boom for the little firecracker that she is.
Man, if you've ever been in New York City traffic, you can only imagine that situation.
When you're stuck, you're stuck.
Ooh, yes,
wow.
You are.
Wow.
She was not going to be stuck, though, right?
She looks precious.
She said, we got somewhere to go.
You got it.
Well, coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
Going to check traffic here locally this morning, see how things are moving along, and a lot more on the way. And it's so good to have you with us on WKYT. Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning here on your Thursday. A rainy start to the day.
Oh, yeah.
Even harder rain in some sections of the viewing area this morning, is down south especially. 5:53 now.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
A Lexington family is shaken up after their home was broken into early this morning. It happened just before 3:30 in the Masterson Station neighborhood. Police say someone threw a brick through the family's kitchen door, then stole a wallet and keys before driving off in the family's stolen SUV. They say the SUV, by the way, is a 2013 black Acura.
After years of planning and construction, the Ark Encounter in Grant County will officially open its doors today. The park features a replica of Noah's Ark. The group behind the park, Answers in Genesis, thinks 2 million people will visit during the first year. Ticket prices for the Ark, $40 for adults and $28 for children.
Lightning may be to blame for a fire that destroyed a historic building in downtown Hopkinsville in western Kentucky. All this started about 11 o'clock last night. The fire was so large, much of the building has collapsed. Firefighters are still out there this morning. The good news is no one has been hurt, at least at this point.
Well, the Justice Department is vowing to conduct a fair, thorough, and impartial investigation into the death of Elton Sterling.
Sterling, a 37-year-old father of 5, was shot and killed by police Tuesday outside a store in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That incident, captured on video, is the latest case of police brutality that is sparking protests and some outrage around the country.
FBI Director James Comey testifies on Capitol Hill today about the Bureau's year-long investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server. The hearing comes out a day after Attorney General Loretta Lynch revealed she would accept Comey's recommendation this week not to seek criminal charges against Clinton. Some Republicans think the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee received preferential treatment from the FBI.
Bill Cosby is heading back to court in Pennsylvania in a bid to have his sex assault case thrown out. The comedian stands accused of drugging and assaulting a former Temple University employee at his home in 2004. Cosby maintains the sex was consensual.
Now for today's top health stories. New CDC numbers show about 90 people die in car crashes in the U.S. every day.
And that is an improvement over the last 10 years, but the report shows other nations are doing better. The CDC recommends states enforce stricter seatbelt and drunk driving laws. The FDA has approved a new kind of heart stent that dissolves into the body within 2 to 3 years. Surgeons insert the stent in the arteries to open up blockages. By the time the artery heals, the stent is gone. Current metal stents stay in the body forever.
Let's get a check right now on today's traffic trouble spots with a look at live drive traffic. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, here we go with a look first this morning at the travel times into Lexington from the surrounding cities. Nicholasville, Versailles, good rides in. Same from Frankfort, less than a half-hour ride right now. And we switch now to the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government live drive cam at Richmond and Mount Tabor this morning. Taking a look there, and what you see, Rebecca, is rain on the road.
You know, and that will actually get you, because I know on my way into work this morning, it got me. I was like, whoa, I'm slipping and sliding.
Well, and you know, it's strange, and maybe Micah would have an explanation for this, but it almost seems darker when it's raining. I don't know why that is, but the visibility seems even more reduced. So,
what do you think, Micah?
Yeah, let's check in with him.
Yeah, I mean, when you get that rain over you and you get those low clouds, you don't have any of the moonlight coming on through, that really does darken the morning for you as you're traveling out there. And along with that heavy rain falling, Mountain Parkway southbound, it's not good to drive in, so you just got to keep in mind it's going to be a tough go at it early this morning. Cumberland Parkway, 75 from, say, Richmond on southbound. Go into the Mountain Parkway, Howard Rogers Parkway. Those are very wet roads right there, so just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about moving this on out. Big break in the rain today, and then tonight have more storms coming up in another minute.